See the government.
Oh, they're spying on us with their yeah, Big Brother's watching. Josh away. Watching. Hi.
Sup,
nice to see you guys.
Good riddance to you.
Okay, let's get back to G and elitism. Do you ever talk about it?
Unbearable Lightness of Your Being, a song that we wrote together. Thank you. Right, can we almost song before we end? That is a song that everybody knows, everybody has heard. Oh, recording already, hi, my name is Amanda T. Actually 22 this year. After the PSLE, they actually offered me a place in the gifted education program as well. So they actually had a talk. Obviously my mom was very happy because my daughter very clever. That kind of thing, so we went together. But even before, I can't remember where it was, but we parked. And then even when we were walking towards the lift lobby, you could see other kids going in as well for the talk at the same time. So you see like some of them, they are just trying to be smart. Because what they were doing was, I saw a boy, he looked very irritating. So he was wearing glasses and everything, very nice. He was walking with a book and reading and walking. It felt very different level. It's like you normally shop at Giordano and then suddenly you walk into LV and pretend you're one of them.
They're not weird, they're not stupid.
In what sense?
I don't know, they all feel a bit sort. Do funny things or act weird. Personality lah. They all think differently. They all do things differently. Once I left the gifted program, I went to JC, I went to university, came to army where I was like, nobody else behaves like that. I still meet up with them. It's not process of people just because they were kids. Even when they grow up, there's a kid inside all of them also. And one guy will buy a home, and then one whole room he just put many chinchillas inside.
Chinchillas?
Or a whole room of chinchillas.
Oh.
I don't know, 5 or 6 chinchillas.
I remember I had a friend in secondary school, for his English compo, he wrote it in poetry. He wrote the entire thing in poetry, and he handed it up because he liked doing that kind of thing. And generally most people wouldn't do that kind of thing. Some of the arts GEPpers are like that. They want to be different because they want to push the boundaries. Yeah. And some people, they use different color pens just because the paper didn't say you can't use a different color pen.
Do you ever do anything like that?
No, I was a good boy, good science boy who followed the rules, didn't get into trouble. But I was a bummer because I hanged out with them and they didn't study, so I didn't study. But they were smart. I wasn't so smart.
I guess like in primary school people thought that we were quite weird cause like there was this day called Spastic Day. And then like me and like a few other girls we would go crazy. Okay, we're generally quite crazy. So like on Thursday we're especially crazy. Like we're given like free reign to be crazy because we called it Spastic Day. And we would like go around like running into walls and just splatting ourselves there. Yeah, I'm serious.
Did that in primary 4?
Yeah, primary 4, primary 5 I think. It's called Spastic Day every Thursday. It was so fun.
First, the student population as a whole was very different from the type of students that were in the primary school back in Tampines. You know, in a sense, it was probably a little bit more well-off and from a slightly different socioeconomic class, a lot more comfortable within an Anglophone atmosphere as well. And so that was something that takes a bit of getting used to. But then the GEP kids were just insane. I mean, some of them were just crazy. I mean, you've got people coming up to you and saying, I want to see if I can fit into the locker myself, and then contorting themselves. People trying to write the entire periodic table on the whiteboard from sheer memory in Chinese. Right, so these were very impressive things. And then you've got the weirdos who would be, you know, oh, I can only step on the black tiles today, so make sure I don't step on the white tiles, and then they'll go hopping around.
I remember one of our history teachers in secondary school used to say all of us were socially spastic, which was hilarious and, looking back on it, quite true. I recently quoted that at a good friend of mine from RIG who was asking me for relationship advice, and he was totally clueless. I will not name any names, of course, but he was totally clueless, and I said, oh my god, you're really asking me this stuff. You remember what we were told? Socially spastic. You socially spastic. But you know, that's stuff that we can learn elsewhere and later on, and yeah.
Okay, I guess saying all these things does mean that as in it enforces the belief that GEPpers have certain GEP-like characteristics and non-GEPpers don't, which is true only to the extent that I'm saying that certain people possess these characteristics which are like certain people possess characteristics which to me are are deserving of being in GEP, but other people don't. This does not mean that everybody who's in GEP is GEP-like and everybody who's not in GEP is not GEP-like. So he's one of the people who are not in GEP but who are GEP-like. So the people you like are GEP-like and the people you don't like.
That's not necessarily true.
You can share a certain wavelength.
Not necessarily. It doesn't necessarily have to do with me because in many ways I'm not GEP-like. But
how are you not GEP-like? According to yourself?
I'm not incredibly intelligent.
Measure in a certain way.
Yeah. Directorial presence.
Yeah.
Literally.
Meta quotes.
Floating in the air.
Claws of the
Somehow, the super bright will always have little quirks, as we call them. Well, some of them, things like, people throw jargons about, like ADHD, Asperger's, slight Asperger's, slight autism, that kind of thing. Few and far between. However, individualism is very, very high on the list from what I know and what I observed. Some of them are pretty self-absorbed, if I may use that word. Okay, so it's all about self, and I think parents get caught up in this labeling, and they get exceptionally big-headed when their children are, wow, GE, So I would say they have some contribution to how their children turn out. You see, they put their children on pedestals, and some of these kids think that they are really God's gift to the academy, Therefore, everybody must look to them, or everybody must work to that, in tandem with them rather than their. I must say that these are few, but enough to cause some unhappiness occasionally, because we need to handle them.
Unhappiness about
teachers, unhappiness in the sense that it's difficult, to try. We don't want to pander because you see we have 20 students, not just one. So we're trying to get them to move, and of course you need to differentiate treatment, not so much the curriculum, because I think they're all bright. in this aspect. Yeah. So in that sense, can be a little bit difficult and trying to get them to work with their friends.
I think in GP, like, it's really hard to get the respect of your students as a GP teacher, because like if you're a GP kid, right, and you catch your teacher making a mistake, you're really not going to forgive that teacher. And I don't know why that happens, but that is the attitude. Yeah.
I remember we were like that.
Yeah, I remember we were like that. And that's, but I don't know if that's good or bad. Like, on one hand, I do think that you have to earn respect. As a teacher, you have to earn respect. If you can't earn the respect, then you have no right to be there in the classroom. But on the other hand, I can understand how teachers would be really frustrated with us.
I started teaching in 2000 at RGS, and then after that, subsequently for about 3 years, then I went to ACS Independent. In between, I went on to do my masters at Nottingham University, and thereafter I went to Yishun Town Secondary School for slightly less than a year before I left to do my PhD, and now I'm teaching at NIE. The thing I appreciated about GEP was that at that point in time they provided a lot of training, a lot more than a lot of ongoing training while I was teaching. So I'm not sure if you remember, but there would be people who would come in to observe classes, and these observations were not meant to evaluate you, they were formative. So these people from the GE branches, they would come in, they would observe the classes, and they would actually give you feedback. They work through your lesson plans with you, and told you, like, discuss with you. They didn't just tell you, they discussed with you about what worked, what didn't work, how would you change it, if you had to do the lesson again, give good suggestions. And actually I found it very useful. I mean, even when I went to, for example, the stuff I learned about curriculum differentiation, which I didn't have the opportunity to learn when I was in NIE, I found that when I went to a neighborhood school where I was teaching normal academic and normal technical kids, I found the principles very useful. So it was I just felt a little bit sad that it was something I learned in GEP. It was good, it worked with my GEP class, but I felt sad that not everybody had that kind of training. And training isn't just about attending lectures, you see, it's about the chance to apply. So what I told you about having mentors who would come in to observe us, this is where it would come in terms of the practical. All the GEP teachers are observed every year, but it will be people you're familiar with. These are the people who do the workshops. These are people you meet up regularly. When you plan for exam papers, you actually work it through with these people to help make your paper better. You work with teachers from the other schools. That's another good thing about GEP, because there is that communication between the GEP schools. So, you can work with teachers from RI, Diamond High, Hwa Chong Institution, at that time Chinese High. Basically, you can work with these teachers and say either come up with joint papers or critique each other's papers, or you can share resources. So your resource pool isn't just confined to the school, but it's confined to a group of people who have experience with the same kinds of students, same but different. Yeah.
I used to teach in many schools. Longest stint was Narai. And then I've also taught at some girls' school like RGS, PLMGS. And I've taught in neighborhood schools as well. I started in 1987, January. That was when the GEP was only about 3 years old. So I guess I was one of the pioneers, so to speak. Over the 2+ decades, there have been expansion of the GE program, of course, and many people, especially alumni of the program, felt that the program has been diluted or was being diluted because you're introducing more students. Therefore, if you are spreading the net, it means you have to take in students who are not as bright. It's not necessarily true because I think they still kept to the percentage. Well, they say it doesn't make sense then because they actually expanded and had more branches of GE. Alright, so there might be a slight expansion. As for diluting, I think it's pretty subjective. Of course, we will have years where they have very, very bright students, and then some years are not so. I mean, we cannot expect everybody to be the same every year from year to year. However, through the years, generally the students do rise to the, did rise to the occasion of what is being tested or what we are supposed to teach them.
I think what was different about GEP from my experience having been into Express and GEP classes in the same school was that the students in GEP were often more talkative, more, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but the culture in GEP, and I think it's been inculcated from primary school, is that it's alright to talk, it's alright to share about your ideas. Whereas if you went to Express class, even a very good Express class, you would have to teach the class first that it is alright to discuss, it is alright to talk. And they would take a while to get used to the idea that you were talking, that discussion is great in class. Whereas in the GEP classroom, you just ask a question and you have a few people starting to talk and all that. But I remember when I did teach an Express class, and it was a great Express class, wonderful girls, clever girls, but there was silence when I first went in, and I had to get the girls used to talking. And because of the amount of time you need to spend on this kind of what I call kind of like class, creating a certain class culture, you have less time to plug into certain other things. So the moment for you guys, maybe the moment you went into Sec 1, things just started moving.
Girls respond differently to different stimuli and different impetus, and guys too. I mean, guys are more thick-skinned. They don't mind being made fools of. They don't mind being insulted, because it actually gives them the attention that they wanted, right? And whereas girls are more sensitive, right? So
Do you think anybody cry?
tend to, because I can't remember. I probably did, because when you've taught so many years in a boys' school, occasionally you forget yourself and you come out harsher than you should into the girls.
Like you throw stuff.
I don't throw stuff at the girls though.
You did.
I did. Oh well, I don't
You threw my
remember.
thing. You threw my lit journal
Oh, I did.
on the floor.
Oh, that okay.
It's okay. I thought it was funny. So how will you normally treat the boys?
Definitely very sarcastic. Okay, I tease them a lot at their expense. Because I told them, look, while you expect to be entertained by your teachers, I also like to be entertained too. And my way of entertaining is at your expense. That kind of thing. An example is like I will go in the class and I'll introduce myself, and then I'll put certain things on the board, such as the fool is the whetstone of the wit. It's a quote from Shakespeare. Okay, and I said, now you know why teachers are so witty, because we're constantly in the company of fools. Yeah. So kind of tarot them a bit, and of course they felt very indignant. But these are boys, and they kind of remember and they will apply it to their friends as and when to get advantage. But I don't think I could ever do it with the girls, because they find it too insulting for But I did remember that a piece of work that I've given to the boys, the same piece of work I gave to the girls, was very badly received. I gave an essay. It's an argumentative, persuasive essay, and they're usually quite dry topics, that teachers gave. And I always like to, like I said, test the kids on their creativity, thinking out of the box. So one of my favorite essay topic was, should cows wear bras? Every time I gave it to the boys for every different batch, they took it in their stride, and they, how these boys are, they're kind of naughty. You will have the very RA, whatever, and you have the very straight lace, who give you the. So it's very enjoyable reading the spectrum of answers. But when I give it to the girls, they were very indignant. They felt so affronted by the topic, and I was quite shocked, because I thought, hello, I mean, this is a fun thing. Maybe having taught the boys, I was less sensitive to the girls, and they gave me very serious documentary style, very factual, which is very boring, kind of essay. And maybe it's the way of retelling it, I don't know. But so that then made me realize there's a huge difference in the way boys and girls relate and react to kind of work that we gave them.
Now, here's the tricky part.
Okay.
It's hard for me to say something about pedagogy because I don't have experience of any contrasting sort, you see. What I can say is that we had some really good teachers, very inspiring teachers. I remember in particular my form teacher, Mr. Lim Teck Ping. He's now a pastor somewhere, that's what I heard. He was very good, but he pushed us really hard.
And what subject did he teach?
Math, right? So we were introduced to base notations, base 10 numbers, I think it was Sec 1 or Sec 2.
We do that in primary 4 now.
Yeah, no, I know. Now this is different. Now they're pushing it all the way down as well,
know,
right?
yeah, it's
But
crazy.
remember, this is 86, right? So, so it was fun. It was very fun. But if you ask me what I remember most, it wouldn't be that partly because I don't have the contrast. What I remember most is that I have fantastic classmates.
Oh. So it's
Very
still
inspiring
baseline.
classmates. Yeah.
Okay.
They were very good in what they do, and you learn to. You are pushed along, and even if you're not, especially good in that subject, the fact is that you do have classmates who are very good, and many of them are quite willing to help out.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
So that's mutual.
We actually feel like a group, Yeah, at least in my class, there's a sense of camaraderie. Just to give one example, many of my friends, my classmates were involved in things like International Math Olympiad, and they actually come out looking pretty good. So so I actually found that very inspiring. I don't think I was especially good in math. I was okay, kind of okay. But the fact is that I know that there are people there who do this, and I talk to them, and you can learn from them. And then they'll borrow my Chinese homework to copy or something. Something else is that even if I don't have the appropriate contrasting experience, the fact is that we do have a smaller class size, 25 students, right? And I think the typical RI class in those days in the express stream was 40. Right, so you do the math, right? That will have to make a difference, right? Exactly how it makes a difference, I can't say, right? There were significant proportion of group work. There was an annual project. So as far as I understand it, this is not usual, at least not in the other streams, right?
Were there field trips?
No, not in those days. Not as common. We had 2 camps.
Camps with other GEP centers?
So we have it's called NAFA in those days. I don't know what is it called now. National Youth Leadership Training something. Yeah, right. So our Sec 2 NAFA camp was with the RGS group, and then there was another OBS thing as well.
So, and RGS, how many classes were there, do you remember?
2 classes of about 25 each.
Oh, so there were only 2 classes, and y'all didn't have a combined camp with AC?
No, they seem to be a mystery to us. We just know they sort of existed over here,
I see.
Yeah, we're quite curious as to what's the deal there.
Okay. And
We had a lot of contacts with the RGS group because of the NAFA camp, and many people actually became good friends. Let's see whether anyone married anyone. Yes, at least one couple. I don't know about the rest. And because a lot of us did go on to RJC more or less as one cohort, so lots of people stay in contact actually.
I didn't like the secondary school system very much. I thought it was quite silly the way they did it. Because in Chinese High, what they did was they gave us papers that were set for gifted kids. They were so difficult. They were really, really hard. And then they hold you to the same standard as the mainstream kid. So you have when every year when you have 25 gifted kids who need to take resits, you have a problem. Because you're supposed to be the top 1% of the batch, and yet here there are 25 of you taking resits, and the rest of your cohort has promoted, rather than just normally. So I thought that was a big problem. Like the fact that they had to do this like extra curriculum stuff, and then after that hold you to the standard of having to make you score perfect 6 points for O levels, kind of defeated the whole purpose. Our primary school teachers were, in general, really good. I have nothing negative to say about any of the primary school teachers. In terms of in the context of this gifted program thing, I think in hindsight, I mean in the context of them teaching in a gifted program, I think they were probably they seemed well trained. In hindsight, I think they knew what they were doing, and they probably had a lot more of freedom from the school expectations. They probably were more. I don't know, maybe they were less under control of the school and more, under control of the gifted branch. I'm not sure how that organizational thing worked out, but that seemed to be the case. It's a bit different in secondary school. I wouldn't say that the teachers were bad, okay, because, it's just that I wouldn't say that they were bad. I think that these teachers could actually have been very good. teachers with like this gifted thing, but the fact that they had to bear in mind the school's requirements for students to get good scores at the O levels kind of put a what kind of leash them back, kind of held them back. It was a leash, because you know, I mean, if you think about it, you could have like a chemistry teacher who is very, you know, interested in all these like cool chemistry things, but at the end of the day, if some of her students are not really getting chemistry, and she has this requirement from the school to make sure that all these students have a mean grade of like, what was the perfect score, maybe 4.0 or something like that, like, you know, everybody scored A's or something like that for that particular subject, then she had to do what she had to do, which was 10-year series, you know.
When you go to mainstream, they don't educate you to perhaps for education's sake, or they don't teach you how to learn. They just teach you how to pass exams. They just straight out say, you should learn this, you should do that, so that you can pass the exams. So you should learn you should write this, I think this is going to come out, learn this, don't learn that. It's just very, very mechanical. You know, Chinese High is a top school, right? Has to be a top school because you got to do well on exams. So this is how you're going to do it. And I mean, it was a huge difference from what we had in GEP. GEP did not emphasize this so obviously. No matter what criticism you have for like GEP's teaching style, I have to say that like outside of GEP, the teaching style is worse. I told to join GEP because based on my personal experiences, there were 3 things that I really enjoyed about GEP. And one of the things is your friends, because when you go to GEP, you join GEP in primary school, and you go to secondary school, and you also go to GEP in secondary school as well. So like your friends will stay together with you for 7 years, minimum. If not all of them will go to the same secondary school, and the girls obviously won't. But like the friends that I made were fantastic.
Actually, yeah, secondary school, primary school and JC, my view of teachers wasn't very good. Yeah. I had this theory that they were like robots that came out to teach and then they went back into their pods to sleep underneath the school at night. I didn't really see them as like people.
Oh no.
But it's just me lah. Yeah.
I don't really think I fit into GEP that well, but I really like the teachers.
In what sense? Like the female teachers?
No, as in the teachers are really, really good. Yeah.
Impact your life?
Yeah. If there's one good thing about RI, it was really the teachers.
Seriously?
Yes.
This is the first I've heard.
Because, never mind, I won't say.
Why?
Because normal GEPs are too smart, they don't need teachers. So, people like me at the bottom end, teachers are very important to us.
I see. Okay, so you consider yourself as an abnormal GEP?
At least I'm a stupid GEP. I'm not smart like the rest of them.
Okay, I'll stand next to you. Stand here, there's a freaking hallway. Take it lah. Wet lah. Okay.
It's timer already?
Yeah, timer lah. Yes, it's okay, sorry.
I thought they were going to...
Right, okay. Hey, Yimeng! Hey, what do you? Hey,
What do you say?
You know why Cairo is 99?
Why?
Because it's 99 kg.
Seriously?
No, that's my guess. It's 99 kg today. If you interact with Express, it's because either you knew them in primary school or you kind of share the same CCA. I was from rugby. No, I was from table tennis for the first 3 months, and then I went over. I joined rugby. But I think my batch was exceptional in the sense that there were quite a few GEPpers. Only 5 of us, 6 of us.
So those GEPpers that were in rugby in your batch, how were they? I mean, socially, how were they positioned within GEP and within rugby?
Well, I think everyone had to manage because the popular perception is that GEPs don't really mix. I think GEPs in general, I think they're just pretty happy to hang out with whoever. It just starts off at a different page because they just assume that you will view them differently. So once you get past that, it's fine. So I think given that it's just individual, certain individuals, like amongst those of us in rugby and hang out with both sides, some of us were better able to manage it than others. Yeah.
Actually, generally, like the other,
the other schoolmates who are like non-GEPs, they are more or less the same as those from Bukit Batok. But those
So you
gifted.
interacted with both?
Yeah, I do.
When you were in primary school?
I do because I play soccer with people after school and stuff. Yeah, so I basically the GEP people weren't really very sporty. It's like when you have an end of year inter-class soccer. I was the only guy in the whole GEP cohort who plays soccer. So
I see.
yeah.
Do you feel like your non-GEP sporty friends are discriminated against your GEP?
Yes. I think yeah, definitely.
But was it so bad that you had to deny that you were from GEP?
Not really lah. So I mean, I take some pride in being called a GEP. What about you?
No.
You just said you did.
I never say I took pride in being a GEP. You didn't ask.
You said it helped your self-esteem.
No, I said it gives you assurance that you know like you can afford to slack. But that's another thing, being openly like you know like telling I'm from GEP, you know.
Yeah. I said we don't gloat about it. We try not to, because if we do, right, probably to express, people will probably make more fun of us. So.
Okay, what primary school are you from?
Maui Stella.
And what sex school do you go to?
Alright.
And what CCA do you join?
Track and field.
And why do you want to deny that you're on GEP?
I never deny.
But everybody knows that you deny. That's something I know.
Because my friends make fun of me.
Your friends from where?
The people behind me right now.
So it's actually your sporty friends.
Yes.
So there's a stigma to be GEP and you know CCA.
Yes.
And so because of that you deny that you're on GEP?
No, I never. I deny it jokingly.
I see. But you denied it so well that even Cairo didn't know you were on GEP. And he's only 1 year of junior.
Kairu's brain is a bit.
In RG GEP, most of people's boyfriends were from RI GEP or RI. Yeah, RI GEP.
You were dating
Violent
a medical officer, right, or something?
Medical officer?
Officer.
No lah, this is RG.
Oh.
So most of the people's boyfriends were from RI, GEP and debate club and Chinese High debate club and GEP, yeah. Some AC. I don't actually think that, I don't know about the whole elitism thing, but for me, I think a lot of this had to do with the sheer fact that nobody really had any friends aside from the other GEPers. The GEP community is an awesome community because everybody knows everybody else, even though they're from different schools. So within the GEP community, you know like a lot of people, but outside of the GEP community, you tend not to know a lot of people. Okay.
He has never been in a relationship, so you have to change the phrasing somewhat.
Why do you think you've never been in a relationship?
Cause maybe I'm gay.
He's not gay, he's straight.
Hey, hola.
Okay. No, but as in, do you think it has anything to do with GEP?
I don't think so. I think why? Because I don't really find it interesting to like find a girl and like get a girlfriend. Cause I think first thing is a waste of time. Like I personally believe I think
a waste of time.
Please he's wrong. He's girl crazy. Don't believe what he says, seriously.
Look at NUS. My group of friends will be like, oh my god, that girl is hot. Now look, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'll be more interested in playing my games during lecture than looking at girls. I'm serious. Even when I join an arts class for my breath modules, I'll be like playing my games in the arts class full of
obviously GEP didn't teach him to be sincere.
The first time I met people completely outside of my social experience was when I went wakeboarding when I was 15, and the drivers were all these they all used to be gangsters. And then but when you go to school, it doesn't matter. Even everybody else in your school is of a certain intellectual level, but when you go to the army, oh my god, every fucking person in my company was, and their highest qualification was O-levels. Most of them didn't even have it, and they were abings and gangsters, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, you don't because you go to just by virtue of going to a good school, your range of social interaction is sort of constrained. There's nothing stopping you from going out to talk to an Ah Beng. It's just that you don't. The point is that you said that. Well, you assumed that I was just talking about like not going to talk to other people in the school. But what I really meant was that we don't talk to people who are we don't interact with people who are significantly different from us.
It's a positive thing that you get used to being secure in a certain group of people before you are comfortable diversifying your range. And I mean, it's hard to know in terms of human behavior because I think it's not just a GEP thing. I think it's everywhere around the world that we just go with people who are like us. It's a very human behavioral thing. It's totally normal. But I think it could be that... See, I can't decide whether it's good that... whether it's good that we are so conscious of it from young, or maybe not so conscious, or whether it's not so good that maybe it's better if it just happened organically, like it just, your parents went to this school, so you go to this school, that kind of thing.
I don't remember about Nanyang, but like in Chinese high, there were always like the teachers in school, they would say like, you don't want to be like the neighborhood school kids, right? I mean, they didn't necessarily say it only to GEP students, but they said it to everybody in the school, like you're born to be, you're going to be future leaders. I think you remember them saying that?
I know some of my friends, they're like, go uni for what? Might as well just get a diploma or NITEC or something, start working straight away. Don't waste your time in university studying about things you won't even remember.
So when you went to JC, was there some sort of culture shock?
Yeah, man, I tell you, even Tampines Junior College, for me it was a culture shock.
In what sense?
In the sense that, like, I see all these, I'm in the same class as people from all these good schools, and there are like TKGS people in my class, and then you see people in like SGI uniforms walking around in the same school. It feels damn weird. Victoria School.
Why does it feel weird?
It feels weird because, I mean, I don't know, when I was in Loyang, I see Victoria School people, I would play soccer with the Victoria School, and they'll be like, oh, Victoria, it's like some high atas, and then it's like you feel like you're different from them, and you're like,
Salima, when you were RG, have you heard? Do you know what the Loyang Sec School uniform looks like? No. I didn't even know there's a Loyang Secondary School. I knew somebody who lived in Loyang, but that's about it.
Loyang Secondary School is not in Loyang. Yeah, Loyang is some atas place.
Yeah.
Loyang Secondary School is,
ergo, knowing someone who lives there.
Yeah, I was known as the Loyang boy, both in Tampines Junior College and St. Andrews, when I went to St. Andrews. St. Andrews was even more awkward. It was like, wow, St. Andrews, man, shit. And I was like, where the hell is Alexandra Road? St. Andrews, like going to St. Andrews was like a whole new world. Tampines Junior College had a lot of schools that I was familiar with. See, it's a lot of East-sided schools, and it's also a Malay language elective, so there are still quite a lot of Malays. Then over there, it's like a whole new group of schools that you only hear like when you do practice papers in Loyang, and you'll be like, hey man, I got the RGS practice paper. It's like, wow, okay, it's like, okay, I'll take the RGS one, I don't want to do the choral psych practice paper. I want to do the RI physics paper or something. It's like, these are the high currency practice papers that everybody wants, say next. And then like suddenly you see all these people in the same school as you. It's funny. Tampines Junior College not so bad. St. Andrews was even more, because all these MGS, SC, AC, I look at AC, I'm like, shit, I could have been wearing that uniform if I didn't screw up my PSLA.
And I have like friends who are good friends from GEP, and they're fine, they're normal, but it's just some of them are not very normal. Yeah.
But do you think they were like that before they got a GEP or after they got a GEP?
Maybe before that, because they're so smart, they really have like an inherent like weirdness in them, but because they're grouped together, their weirdness get reinforced. Yeah.
But maybe if they're so weird, they group together so they can actually find friends.
Yeah, perhaps they found friends. Good for them. Yeah.
Yeah, but if they weren't grouped together, they wouldn't be able to meet other people like
and then they'll be sad and lonely. Yeah.
Why do I think I'm awkward? Because I feel that way. If you feel uncomfortable when you are interacting with someone, then sort of almost by definition that means you're feeling awkward about it, right? Well, that was the other thing about being there. That was really helpful, frankly. It was one of the ways in which having a relatively sheltered, cloistered environment was very helpful. Is that ultimately, being socially adjusted and all that is useful, but it's something that you can to some extent learn later on, and if you care too much about that and about feeling awkward and all that, that could, I think, looking back on it now, that could impede other forms of development, and being put in an environment like that where we were totally, or to varying degrees, but more so than we would have been otherwise, but for me almost totally unself-conscious about a lot of things. Like if I had to worry about, say, I don't know, something like the way I dressed or something like that, I don't think I would have become as intellectually or psychologically or even emotionally developed as I managed to be. So
GEP provided safe.
Yes, exactly. It was a relatively safe environment, free from, or relatively free from, for want of better word, distractions of kinds which ultimately I think are less important.
But I remember another third stage is the JC time. I don't know what happened when one day I went to pick you up from, I still remember your new place at the Bishan. Then you were crying. You were telling me that you very disappointed with the whole system, whole scholar system. That's why you told me that you are not going to take the scholarship exam and so on and so forth. Then you mentioned about this teacher who tend to tell you all the dirty thing, inverted comma, about the system or whatever. So I thought, again, what's happening? So we also come to the conclusion, our conclusion, right or wrong, we don't know, but it could be also because the background of people, because particularly, for example, the very close friends of yours are all very rich. So the thinking and the way of life immeasurably impact on you, So that was another conclusion that we had. But one thing is that it is nothing. I don't know. Is it because all the GEPs program people are all very rich? You happen to be profile, so I don't think that we can draw any conclusion that the rich and the GEPs program. But the point happened that the program is teaching you supposed to be teaching you on certain management skill, how to manage life, how to be independent, have an independent mind. But the people that you mix with in the whole cohort, it happen to be all, I think of it now, all come from well-to-do and so on and so forth. And after that, when you graduated from JC, you feel lost because all of them have gone overseas, and you're the only one. That's why you feel there's a vacuum, And remember, that's why you decided to go for 1 year gap years and so on. All your people, either they go on scholarship, or majority will go on the Papa Mana scholarship, But you wanted to stay back, and that's our commitment to you, that so long that you study, we'll make sure that you go through your university locally, not overseas, right?
你太随性了。
所以如果可以回到从前，你会不会再让我去都可以？
不会。
为什么？
不会，不用就是脚踏实地的从基本开始了，跟其他的同学孩子一起长大。你可以学习到其他孩子的优点， 也许其他同学普通班的同学比较有自律啊，也许啊。
所以觉得原因不会让我再进高才班。
不会，绝对不会。
所以是觉得高才班的制度还有环境
太随性，太随意，太随性。
Secondary school, actually I had a number of friends who were not from my school or from like the GEP schools, and I think those people, it is continually these people who sort of balance out like my attitude towards people in general. In secondary 2, I went for math tuition and I met my best friend who was from Geylang Methodist Secondary, and I think it's like when I talk to all these people, it's like I am continually reminded of the fact that they're actually really smart, and I have to sort of keep my attitude towards them in check because it's actually really easy when you're in GEP and you're in RG or in like privileged position to sort of subconsciously look down on other people who are not in the same position and who are not important people, famous people, whatever. And I didn't realize that until I talked to them, and it was kind of good also that this was young, and then the whole the whole prejudice thing was not that strong, and they themselves didn't really accept, as in they would fight back and they would like argue back with me and stuff like that, and it helped to shape my attitude. So
do you think many of your peers and RG on the side ever had that kind of exposure? Had enough?
I think even if they did know people from outside of school, those people weren't their good friends, or they didn't really want to be friends with them, because honestly it is like wasting your time lah. If you're, when you have like a bright future and stuff like that, you have this cool hip social milieu of like debaters and like other rich people, you do like cool things like Odyssey of the Mind, which I did, which is really cool, and you get to meet people from overseas and things like that. And yeah, there's really no space or time for other people. And honestly, I think I only hung out with these other people because I was playing some games with them. I was into like role playing games.
That sounds bad.
It was very innocent. They were text-based. We would write stories.
Okay, text-based.
Yeah.
I'm very sure the GEPpers program is good for you in helping you or in the growing process to have an independent mind, a very rational mind, capable to analyze things and so on. All whatever thing they give it to you, the environment. But what is not good is that I think, back to my very fundamental question when I asked, when I heard about decide whether to send you or not, is there a complementary or parallel value inculcation or help one to manage the emotional growth, emotional management part of it, which I think is something that incomplete. I think, to be fair, the character building cannot be only school itself. It is the family, it is the people around us, and therefore it's very important. Good school, I think it made a difference between a good school and environment-wise, not academical-wise, and so on.
I think our year when we went in, they only had like 300 for the primary school intake, about 300 in the whole of Singapore. And of the 300, there were 2 girls who took Indian languages. There was me and one other guy that took Malay. When they went for the briefing, they have like a GEP briefing for the parents. When they went for the GEP briefing, they told my parents that like, you can't send your daughter to RGPS because all the people who speak Malay will be sent to one school. And it was Henry Park.
So there's 2 schools. I mean, 2 students.
It's just 2 students.
Okay.
So I had no choice, so I had to be sent to Henry Park. Which...
We didn't know this.
Yeah, which was...
Very few people.
But also, like, yeah.
But did you have a special Malay curriculum?
That's the thing, right? Because in GP, like, like a lot of the GP kids you have, well, not a lot of the GP kids, because basically all the GP kids are Chinese except for like those few of us, like random people for the quota. Well, there are other people who are mixed but spoke Chinese. Yeah, but they spoke Chinese, so people who don't speak Chinese, like, you're kind of a bit of a freak. Like, in that sense, I remember.
You felt like a freak?
Like, it was very strange. Like, I didn't feel like a freak in the sense that, like, I still have friends and, like, my classmates treated me very normally. It didn't really matter. But I was very bilingual before that. Extremely bilingual. Like, I won Malay storytelling prizes, you know, that kind of thing.
Wow.
But when I went to GP, and I went to Harry Park didn't have a lot of Malay students. And in GP, there were only 2 of us. And there weren't, like, any other girls. And, like, at that age, you kind of really, like, you need, like, female friends. Because, like, guys are just be like, ew, you know, you already know what to do with them, right? When you're, like, 11 years old. But, yeah, so I didn't actually have a lot of Malay friends. I had some Malay friends who were, like, in Malay class. But I would only see them.
So you all took Malay with the mainstream?
We took Malay with the mainstream students because we couldn't have a class with just 2 of us.
Then in like all the other years,
you
were
were
taken Malay with the mainstream.
Yeah, I never really understood their reasoning. I'm not gonna make excuses for them. So yeah, but I don't regret going to Harry Park. I have to say, because I did like Harry Park and I do like my classmates. So like I have no regrets. But did they have a reasoning for it? No, I don't think so. Yeah, not a valid reasoning anyway. And it was kind of strange because, like, so all these masses of Chinese Jeep people who go off for like Chinese camps. We didn't have a camp. Like, there wasn't an alternative for it. We just didn't really have anything.
So what did you do during those days?
I don't remember, but I think it was during the school holidays, if I'm not wrong. So it didn't take up school time, but we just didn't have extra holiday activities, which I really thought was very unfair, and I still think it's very unfair. When people came back from Chinese camp, people were really excited because like a lot of people had quite a lot of fun and you met like new people and stuff. And I was like, I wish I could go there too. It's not a good experience when you're a kid, but I guess by then I've been kind of used to it.
I believe that diversity is so important because coming from the primary school that I did, I mean, which for all intents and purposes you will call it a neighborhood primary school, it's not in the Towner or roadside class. I am very grateful for that because you have access to, you know, friends who do completely different things, are from completely different backgrounds. And in particular, ACUS was not bad, but you know, it was still going to be predominantly Chinese, Christian. And when I did this sort of like short quiz, because I had like this small bet with my friend, that can't be people with no Malay friends, right? And then I just sort of asked them, anybody here with no Malay friends? And and all these hands started coming up, and I was like, oh my god, you know, that's really unexpected, and I thought quite lamentable as well that you, I mean, you know, that's a significant part of your population. You don't even have, you know, friends. I mean, the only exposure they have to the other races is through national education classes or NS. Yeah, or NS, and you have to wait until NS to do that. So that's a bit sad, and I think that should not be the case, and that you should have as much diversity as possible in terms of cultures, races, and socioeconomic background as well.
I taught in Hwa Chong after I graduated, and I taught in Hwa Chong for 6 months. GP.
Okay.
And I had a student that asked me, is it true that most Malays are poor? And he was a SAP school student. He was basically SAP school all the way and had not met a single brown person in his life. And I was like, is it true that brown people, like Malay people, are poor? And I was like, he's really asking me this question. How do I deal with this? Yeah, I tried to explain to him that, like, you know, there are people of all colors who are poor. That yes, you might have, you know, like certain problems are more prevalent in the Malay community, but there are certain problems that are more prevalent in each community. But he really didn't mean it badly, which gets to me, because then it's really pure ignorance. You can't teach that. Yeah. It's matter of exposure.
Do you think it actually minimizes exposure to diversity?
I think SAP schools are a terrible idea. I think SAP schools create an environment in which you only have, it's really monocultural. It's extremely monocultural, and it starts from primary school. So you have people, I've met people who are like inside schools from primary school, secondary school, and go to like Hwa Chong, and they have all these strange racist ideas, and then a lot of them, you know, get scholarships, do well, whatever. It worries me a bit.
How about teaching? I think that creates a different kind of monoculture.
I think tutoring,
especially the tutoring at school.
Definitely. I think tutoring at schools are a very bad idea. But generally, I think tutoring is a bad idea because I feel like it pushes the stress down. Now you're really stressed at P6. Because once you don't make it, you don't really have a chance after that, until your A-levels, to go to a good school. And going to a good school helps.
If, for instance, you consider why are there so many like Disney movies and stuff about how it's okay to be yourself? Obviously, if that message is being pushed so strongly, it's because someone realizes that kids are not feeling that. A lot of kids don't feel that way and feel a pressure to conform and all that, and it's not healthy. And that is precisely what being in the GP helped to a large extent protect us from or free us from. And that was really important. So having not the fact that we did not need to be told that, because we took that for granted, was really, I think, the most valuable thing.
I mean, just because you're in a GEP class doesn't necessarily mean that you're brilliant in everything. And even that test doesn't take everything. For one thing, you know, it's at age 9. How many people develop at age 9? Another thing, it's bias, isn't it? I mean, it's based on what you've read as a child. If you come from a certain background, I mean, nowadays I believe there are people who prep their children for GEP tests by having them actually go for tuition, right? And all that kind of stuff. But I mean, if you talk about earlier on, I mean, your family background may affect how prepared you are for that test. For example, if you read a lot, you're exposed to a lot of reading, you write in a certain way, you know, that may affect how good your writing is as well. But anyway, just back to the idea that, I mean, just because you're a GEP doesn't necessarily mean you're brilliant. You just got in at age 9. But the fact is, because you got in at age 9, you were put in this form of education, more likely than not, you benefited from it. Because you were in a smaller class, you benefited from, yes, more resources, certain kinds of education. So, I mean, just by being put in that class, I think you already like gain a little bit more than somebody who wasn't in that class. Yeah.
I wouldn't say GP are nice. They're interesting, they're unique, they're funny, they are smart. They're not the nicest of people.
Like one thing I really like about the people that they're really passionate. Like a lot of them are really passionate, and that's one of the things that to me characterizes a GEP person. Like you gotta be passionate about something, whatever it is, even though it's not normal stuff. Like weird stuff. A lot of people have really interesting weird stuff like him. So that's why one of the reasons why I said that he was GEP like.
Weird stuff, music weird.
Last words.
You make me attention.
I think for those normal people like watching this video, I think there's really not much. For those everybody watching this video, there's really not much difference between GEPs and other people. We're just like the same. We're still people. Yeah, okay.
You last word.
Huh? But I think GEPs in general are different lah. Yeah, but I think they're more different by conditioning than by the start stage, you know. Like whatever difference, however big it is, once you invest a significance in it, you definitely fulfill yourself, right? So, yeah lor. And actually, I do think GEPs are different in very in appreciable ways. Yeah.
You want to elaborate on the appreciable?
Yeah, you can give me 2 hours, I also cannot finish. Yeah.